Well, gentlemen, this is depressing. Most of you guys that watch my little show here have seen this amplifier before. We just got done rebuilding this thing. It's kind of embarrassing, but I will admit it. It made it down there to the customer, and he gets it on his side of the street, and he calls me and goes, "Man, BBI, I opened this thing." I was like, "Oh yeah?" He goes, "We got a small problem." He sends me a picture, and all these power supplies are busted off their mounts and floating around. I said, "Oh shit, man." I said, "Well, there's nothing else broken." He goes, "Not that I can see." Now, he's been the coolest customer, right? Pretty cool cat, very laid back. I'm like, "Well, man, that sucks." So I immediately grab a little flat rate box and I send him brand new mounts and all new hardware and said, "I'm sorry." And I asked him if he'd be, able to change these out on his own. He said, "Oh yeah, sure." So he changed all the mounts out, and he went to talking on it, and within about a day and a half, the thing quit on him. So we have a burned up resistor here, and a burned up resistor here, which tells us that there's a problem here in this 4 transistor section. There is a bad 10 ohm. So it tells me this transistor's gone bad, so that means we got to pull both of these out. Now, I did not change the transistors in this amp. I just biased it, changed the power supply, and kind of tweaked it. I think the mistake that I made was I left this capacitor in and this capacitor in. I didn't pull them out and check them. This is one of these deals that either they go bad or they don't go bad. We also live in a world where we have to accept the fact that these are Chinese transistors. And they're not the greatest thing in the world, but it's the best that we can get, right? So when I called and I talked with him yesterday, he says, "Well, what caused it to go bad?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just telling you, you got a bad transistor and all the power supplies are broken again." So we'll fix the obvious thing first. We're going to fix the power supplies. So we're going to take out these plastic mounts and we're going to replace them with some metal mounts, and we're going to make it so they can never break loose again, cause damage, none of that. I don't want to deal with this ever again. We'll fix that. Then we're going to change out that transistor, pull out its partner and check it, probably just replace it with 2 brand new transistors. Then we're going to pull these caps and we're going to see if they're any good. These things are so notorious for failing. I mean, God, small fortune because of these caps. We're going to replace them either way. We're going to put metals in here. We'll put some metal silver dipped, mica caps in here. These are silver dip micas, but we're going to do metal bodies. So we're going to get this thing up and running for him. I feel horrible. He just got this back, and after a year or so of waiting on me to repair it, the power supply is banging around, messed up one of the relays over here. So I'll fix that here too real quick. So first things first, let's get the power supplies out. Let's get all the brackets out, and let's build him something new over here. Okay, so I built a bracket. And power supplies are never moving again. I don't know if I should use 2 of those. I'm about out of those plastic brackets. I think I'm gonna call up my friend Beard Amplifiers and get a bunch of metal ones. So we pulled the 2 transistors out. This one is bad, obviously bad. So then I pulled this capacitor out and this capacitor out. This is a 151, and it came from right here. The problem the side of the amp that doesn't have a problem. This is the one that's from right here. I think we found a problem. So what I'll do in turn is I'll replace these with metals. And we never have to worry about this again. So, and then we'll put 2 new transistors in here. But That bracket thing really upsets me. Never had those brackets break for the most part that I can remember. I might have had one, but I've been using those brackets now for like a year. But I see now that there's just too much physical weight involved with just using one, so it's probably preferable to use two, and then we won't have a problem. But that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, you got to keep the box running. And the guy that owns this, he went out and he bought himself a Carl built while he was waiting for me to repair this. He says to me, he goes, you know, I've had a Carl built and I haven't had one problem with it. And I'm like, you will? He's like, yeah, but it's lasted longer than the one that you repaired for me. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Come to find out, what got me was these caps. I've never been and never will be a fan of these. People say that these things are great. We're here repairing this amp because of it, so it is what it is. All right, let's go get some 150s put together and let's get this thing back running. Well, let's see how this goes. So what we're looking at here is 1,000 in peak and 1,000. Well, I got this at 1,000 in peak, and this is 1,000 in 2x over here, and this one here. Here's the microphone, by the way. Just want him to get some confidence in this box. It was kind of saying that, you know, you can tell he doesn't have a lot of confidence in this thing. He bought it new, it failed on him right away with a very little short amount of talk time. Sent it up here, had to wait a long time for it to get on the workbench. Got it back and then had immediate failure after that, right after getting it back. So this is way longer than what normal CB operators would stay keyed up for, right? On the average, right? So we'll shut the radio off. Give an amp the second or two to cool back down again. This guy says he doesn't do a lot of talking, but so we'll key this back up again. Nice 300 watt carrier swinging forward, you know. There's only a couple ways that are open to us to test. We got the test like what we're doing now into a dummy load. I already hooked this up and talked on the antenna on it today. Talked a little bit of skip with this today. So I checked every part. I don't know. I just want him to be confident. I want him to be peaceful about it. Like, okay, now I firmly believe what I'm getting is going to work. I don't know if he's just running at full tilt on sideband. I don't know if we just had a bad transistor. I think that cap being that far off in value was a big deal. It was causing an imbalance. And who knows, maybe that broke down, right? Turn the radio off. Let the thing continue to exhaust air. I like this new cabinet design, by the way. Wish we had a version where I could get 2 more fans in here for like an extreme duty situation on fans for airflow. I just don't want him to have to send the thing back, right? Let's key the box back up and get a little bit more talk time on it here. I mean, really, how many times can you guys hear me say hello, 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 right? So I run it on the antenna. I personally think that the cap and that we're dealing with Chinese transistors is what caused our failure here. The cap falling out by 30 picofarads. And who knows, when the cap got hot, it could have broke down even further. I don't know. Hello. 1-1. We got that 1X, no wonder. Let's go over here, we'll put that up on 2X. Hello. This is borderline abusive almost, but if there was a serious imbalance in any of the components inside on the amplifier, it would render its ugly head by now, right? We'd have another part fail, or we'd have a resistor starting to let the smoke out. So key it for a couple minutes, let it sit idle for a minute or so, key it for another couple minutes. It's all about building confidence. Oh, yeah, it's pumping out good heat now. The heat sink is hot. It's like hot enough that if I touch it, well, you just seen me immediately jerk my hand off the heat sink because I'm reaching back here through the slot in the back and it's screaming warm. Hello. I don't smell any noxious smells or anything, which means no resistors are letting out the smoke. Fun times. So, I believe we have this problem whooped. I just feel. That's just me personally. Yeah, new metal clad capacitors. So, okay, we're gonna call this a win, my man. I don't know. Fairly certain it was that capacitor. So I'll get it all boxed up. We'll turn around, we'll send it back. Hopefully you have better luck with it. This is the transistor with the blown 10 ohmer. And I just lifted up the center tab and left these two soldered together and just took the transistors out as they sit. So that one in theory is still good. I'll check the HFE gain on it some other day and we'll call it a win. So On that note, gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed watching this. This is just basic warranty repair. I mean, I felt horrible when a guy called me and said he had had a problem. I was like, how can that be? The power supplies are what pissed me off the most. The fact that he had to go in here and hand take these all apart, these brackets, and as soon as he gets everything put back together, then he has a transistor fail. I was like, that's not the way I like to roll around here. Not the way I like to roll at all. So, new bracket system for the power supplies. They're never moving again. I mean, they're like attached on the base, plus then we've got the bracket over the top. We'll see how it goes. It's the best I can do for you. Gentlemen, on that note, I'm going to say I'm going to run. You got any questions, any comments, anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to give me a call, hit me up, ask me questions, leave a comment down in the doobly-doo section below. I think I crossed all my I's and dotted all my T's on this particular one. Again. Peace. We'll see you.